Okay. Ready? All right. All praises be to the Most High, Ahaya, Shara, Ahaya. You ever wonder why you go through just different things? Why is it that you're just going through day after day after day, week after week after week? Why is it that stuff just continues to fall on you? This Shabbat, we're going to go to the potter's wheel. And we're going to get an understanding through the potter's wheel on why it is that, why is it that we're going, and why is it that the Most High is doing this stuff to us? Why is it that He's, I don't want to give it away. So we give all praises to Father Ahaya, Shar Ahaya, Yeshaya, and Wawawak. As we learn Jeremiah 18, and we break down Jeremiah 18, the potter's wheel. So I had this sermon that I did when I was in the Christian church about 2 or 3 years ago. And it's still kind of profound for me now. Okay? Alright, so when we come into the truth, the Most High starts to mold, and He starts to build us in the image that He sees us to be in. This is not an easy process. In Jeremiah 18, there's a wonderful example on how the Most High is the potter and we are the clay. So let's see why this is an important process that everybody must endure. If you're going to work for the Most High Ahaya, not for Jehovah, not for Jesus, but if you're going to work for Ahaya, this process you're going to have to go through. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. And let's get an understanding of the potter house. Not that satanic church in Dallas. Jeremiah chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. Let's read it.
The word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Arise, and go down to the potter's house.
Go down to the potter's house.
And there I will cause thee to hear my words.
I will cause thee to hear my words. Go ahead.
Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheel.
He wrought a work on the wheel. So Jeremiah went to the potter's house and he saw the potter. And we all know who a potter is, right? It's the person who makes crafts with clay, pottery, right? So he saw the worker. He saw the potter working. Verse 4.
And the vessel that he made was marred in the hand of the potter.
The clay was marred. A lot of us, when we come to the Most High, we have all kinds of stuff on us. We have all kinds of sin, sickness, disease, all kinds of impurities on us. Go ahead.
So he made it again another vessel.
He made again another vessel. Go ahead.
As seemed good to the potter to make it.
And it seemed good to the potter to make it. When you're going through right now, it's because the potter is doing this because he sees the good after the fact. Verse 5.
Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Go, house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are we in mine hand, all house of Israel.
So it said, all house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter? He's talking to Israel, shaping them up. Saith the Lord, behold, as the clay is in the potter's hands, so are ye in my hand. I'm going to show you something. This is the first process, okay? It's beginning to steep of the wedging wheel. Eventually distribute the more in the clay of the clay plasticity inside. How we feel when we the most off. You start to feel like something is just molding you and changing you around. You feel pressure. It doesn't feel good. There's sticks, there's rocks, there's pebbles, there's all kinds of stuff in that clay that has to be taken out. I.e., your sin and your iniquity that you have done all your life, that stuff has to be taken out. The Most High is changing you. You are nothing but dirt and mold. Now He's changing you into this clay. Have you ever seen a potter at the wheel? He's constantly turning that wheel. And he's having his hands on that clay. And he's molding that clay. And he's putting pressure. His fingers and thumbs, all of it is working together. He has his hands all over you. All of it is working together. A little pressure here. A lot of pressure here is to make you better. Keeping you in the mold. Always throwing a little water your way to keep that mold going. So that wheel is constantly spinning. That potter, he's got the thing going. He's got his hand and he's working. And he's working the hand of the clay. He's moving the clay. That's the Most High when you are going through trials and tribulations. Let's get Isaiah 64.
But now, O Lord,
Isaiah 64, verse 8. Let's read it.
But now, O Lord, thou art our Father.
Thou art our Father.
We are the clay.
We are the clay.
And thou our potter.
Uh-huh.
And we all are the work of thy hand.
We all are the work of thy hand. Every single one of us.
Yes.
You're going through because Father wants you to go through. You're going through because it's good to his eyes. Clay cannot mold itself. So the Most High, he has the power to shape you. He has the power to mold you up. He is the proper, he guides you. As that clay is being formed, it's being guided, right? So the potter, in order to be formed into something useful, all the pebbles, sticks, straws, dirt have to be removed from the clay in order to make it perfect. Before just throwing you on the wheel, you have to be centered. He can't just throw you on there and start spinning the wheel. He puts you on that center and you have to be centered. Okay? Jeremiah saw the wheel turning constantly, bringing the clay against the potter's hand. That wheel stands for the turning circumstances in our life.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Under control of the potter. So that wheel, the potter is controlling that wheel. The lesson is clear. As our life is being shaped and molded by the great potter, it is the circumstances of our life, which that wheel of circumstance, which brings us again and again under the potter's hand. So that wheel is constantly spinning, and the Most High is constantly molding us together. But we're not done just yet. Let's get Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. Ephesians 2 and 10. Let's read it.
For we are his workmanship, created in Yeshua unto good works, which the Most High hath before ordained that we should walk in them.
Okay? Coning up the clay upward and then sending it back down will aid the centering and align the clay particles in a circular pattern. So moving that clay up, bringing it down. Moving it up, bringing it down. Moving it up, bringing it down. You got your ups and downs in life.
Also, you see how messy it gets too?
Yes, it's messy.
Yeah.
So then Jeremiah saw the potter. He knew that the Most High was the potter, with absolute right over the clay to make it what he wanted to be. So Jeremiah watched and learned that an individual or a nation is clay in the potter's hands. He has a sovereign right to make it whatever he wants it to be. So the Most High is molding you to be a healer. The Most High is molding you to be a preacher. The Most High is molding you to be a teacher. The Most High is molding you to whatever he wants. But you don't want to do that. You want to do other things. That's why it's hard and it's difficult. Okay? Let's go to Job.
Mm.
Job chapter 23. Verses 1 through 9. This is Job on the potter's wheel. Job chapter 23 verses 1 through 9. Let's read it.
Then Job answered and said, even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groaning.
So even today, he's complaining now. Go ahead.
Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments.
I will order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments. How many times have you argued and fussed? How many times have you complained? You're on the potter's wheel.
Wow.
Verse 5.
I would know the words which he would answer me and understand what he would say unto me.
You know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
You want to go and you want to do, you want to go and you want to leave. You want to go and you want to do other things. But you know what the word says. And it's a fight. It's a struggle. But see, while this is going on, the Most High is happy. He's joyful because he's molding you. And yes, you feel the pressure. Oh, we're going to talk about the heat in a minute. You feel the pressure, but he's enjoying it because he sees something perfect. Let's get verse 6.
Will he plead against me with his great power? No, but he would put strength in
He
me.
will put strength in me. Go ahead.
There the righteous might dispute with him, so should I be delivered forever from my judge. Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive
So
him.
there you go. He's on the potter wheel, and you're going before and down. The Most High is molding you. He's shaping you up and down, forward and backward. He's doing all this stuff to you. Verse 9.
On the left hand, where he doth work,
Left hand, he's working. Go ahead.
but I cannot behold
You
him.
don't understand why you're going through the circumstances that you're going through. Go ahead.
He hideth himself on the right hand, that I cannot see
You
him.
don't understand it because you can't see what Father has for you. Because all you are right now is just this piece of clay. You're not the finished product yet. We haven't even been to the fire yet. You're going through right now is because the Most High has his left hand on you and his right hand on you. And he's moving you and he's shaping you and he's molding you. That's Job's testimony. This means that Job has the doctrine to deal with what he's going through. We already know that because he already passed through the first part of evidence of testing and suffering for blessings. Okay? Let's skip down to verse 15. Job chapter 23, verse 15 and 16. All right, let's read it.
Therefore I am troubled at his presence. When I consider, I am afraid of him.
He troubled at his presence. Go ahead.
For God maketh my heart soft, and the Almighty troubleth me.
If you have a stone hard heart, he's going to break it.
Yes, he is.
You got walls built up, he's going to break it. That's the molding process. We are not to have walls built up where we're angry or we're pushing people back. That is being broken off by the Most High. Okay? Job fails to recognize that silence of Father is the greatest compliment. When Father is quiet, that's the greatest compliment. Because a potter doesn't sit there and be talking while he's molding. He's concentrating on his clay.
So could that be like if we keep praying and praying and praying and we think we don't hear from him, we're not getting the answer?
Right. Okay. Next process. With the spinning wheel, it's easy to see the mound of clay. So remember, you were being balled up. That the clay, all the stuff was being taken out. Now it's a perfect piece of clay to be worked on. Okay? Let's get Genesis, the first chapter. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and 28. So now the Most High is forming you. He's not needing you anymore. He's not pulling out the sticks anymore. You've been through deliverance. Now he has to shape you. Let's read it.
So God created man in his own image. And the image of God created he him.
Every single one of you are created in the Most High's image. Go ahead.
Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And the Most High said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it. And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Beautiful. The clay is brought upward. So now, the Most High is starting to shape you up. Okay, you've been through the trial. You've been through deliverance. Now you're being shaped up. As we see here, the clay is brought upward in a cylinder shape. Tall, even thickness walls are needed before the final shape given to this pot. Okay? 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Let's read it.
Watch ye, stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men, be strong.
Quit you like men, be strong. That thing, that tower is getting stronger. Okay? He's throwing little pieces of clay there, throwing water there, and you're getting stronger. Right? While the potter is shaping you, and while the wheel, Yeshaya, is spinning you, all the imperfections of sin is coming out. You're understanding what this life is about. You're getting stronger in the Word. However, the Most High is not done with you yet. The piece is then mounted upside down on the wheel here while spinning at a moderate speed, so it's getting faster. You get turned upside down. You think you got the doctrine, but the Most High comes with other things. This is your learning process. You're being turned upside down, and you're being turned again, strengthened. Notice that the hands are still close together. The Most High hands are still going to be close on you. He's never going to leave you. Okay? Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19 to 21. 2 Timothy 2, 19 to 21, and let's read it.
Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his.
He know who are his. Go ahead.
And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity.
Go ahead.
But in a great house there are not only vessels of God and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor.
So everybody is different. 21.
If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
So that vessel, you are that vessel that's being created by the Most High. You are that vessel on the potter's wheel. He's taking out the imperfections. You're going through deliverance. You're going through healing. But just because you go through deliverance doesn't mean that he's done.
That's right.
The clay is vulnerable by itself. It's only valuable in the hands of the Most High. Therefore, the Most High is concerned. No one can value your potential of your life. Nobody can. Only the Most High knows your value and potential.
That's right.
Well, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. Who are you? You're not the Most High. Okay? Psalms 103, verse 14 and 15. Let's read it.
But he knoweth our frame.
He knoweth our frame.
He remembereth that we are
He
dust.
remembered that we are dust. Clay is nothing but dust. Go ahead.
As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourisheth.
So he flourishes. Okay? All right. After the final shaping of the handle, the bowl is now ready to be dried before the bisque firing.
And it's not that messy either. Look.
And look, he's cleaning you up.
Yeah.
It's not messy like it was before. It now has shape. At first it was just this blob.
Stuff
But
everywhere.
now the Most High is just building you up. But then here comes the hardest part is coming up though. Because he's building you up. Now, the first part is complete. You see the world for what it really is. You have a feeling that you can't make it without the Most High. But you are being pulled still to worldly things. You're still being pulled to worldly things. Even though you're shaped and formed, you still are being pulled to worldly things because you haven't been through the fire. You are about to go through spiritual warfare as you are being dried out. So what happens is that they have to sit the piece of that, the vessel, and it has to sit out and it has to air dry. Gets a little hard. Okay? Let's get Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. Exodus 14, 13 and 14. And let's read it.
And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still,
Stand still, be quiet, dry out. Go ahead.
and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
So all the past issues that you have went through, the Most High molds you, you're not going to see them again. 14.
The Lord shall fight for you.
He shall fight for you.
And ye shall hold your peace.
You be quiet. You're sitting on that shelf drying out. The Most High is fighting for you. People are coming against you left and right. The Most High is fighting for you. People are telling you, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should leave that person. That person is no good for you. You should come back to the old Christian church. You should celebrate Christmas again. They're coming at you left and right. You be quiet and let the Most High fight for you. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 7. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 7. And let's read more about the potter. Go ahead.
For the potter, tempering soft earth, fashioned every vessel with much labor for our service.
So you don't think the Most High is working hard to get you to be the person who you are? Go ahead.
Yea, of the same clay he maketh both the vessels that serve for clean uses, and likewise also all such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge.
The potter himself is the judge. Okay? This is the hardest part right here.
Ooh.
This is what some of you are going through right now. That clay that was shaped, now it has to be burned because it has to be hardened. You're going through spiritual warfare. Now comes one of the hardest parts of life, the spiritual warfare. Satan is touching your finances. He's touching your health. He's touching everything around you. You're being tested in all ways. This is why you can't stop now. You're in the fire to be stronger coming out. Let's go back. You're in this fire to be stronger to come out of the fire. Because that vessel that was sitting there and it was getting air dry, if you knock it over, it's just going to fall. It's going to break. It's not going to even break. It's going to just fall into a lump again. Okay? But it has to go through the fire. Daniel 3. You may want to help out with this one. Daniel chapter 3, verses 10 through 30. And let's see about this fire. Let's get an understanding of what this fire really is. Daniel 10 to 10. Daniel chapter 3, verses 10 through 30. Let's read it.
Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image.
Shall fall down and worship the golden image. Go ahead.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set up over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded them. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
So, the fire is coming. You understand the doctrine. You have an understanding on the teaching. You've been going through deliverance. But the spiritual warfare has not happened. It's happening now. Verse 13.
Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
So you're not sitting there doing, you're not going to Sunday worship no more? You're not celebrating Thanksgiving anymore? You're not celebrating Christmas anymore? You're going to something called a Shabbat, a Sabbath, or what? You're starting to wear things and strings on your clothes? What? You don't want to eat pork no more? What's going on with you? Verse 15.
Now, if you be ready that at one time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand?
He said, who is that? So your family members, friends, or whatever. You don't want to do that no more? Okay. You're cut off. We don't have nothing to do with you anymore. You're going to insult Grandmama and insult her silver and gray Christmas tree? You're going to insult Grandpa when he's sitting up there and he's preparing that wonderful Thanksgiving meal? You're going to insult Aunt Bessie? She in there washing the chitlins? Verse 16.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner.
We are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So you're saying, wait a minute. You're going through right now. The world that you see is not the world who you thought it was. You're going through. The devil already saw you go through deliverance. The devil has already seen you start reading scripture, start reading books, start reading things to improve yourself. So now the devil is coming with all guns blazing. You're in the fire right now, young pottery. You're in the fire right now, young pottery. That fire is burning. It's hot. It don't feel good. after trial after trial, you're in that fire. 17.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace.
You got to have faith. Go ahead.
And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
Will. They didn't say he might. They didn't say he could. Will. You have to know that Father will put you through this test. You have to endure in that oven. That oven can get up to 2,500 degrees. You have to endure. 19.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
He took on a demon face. He took on a demon face. Notice when you're going through that somebody always comes around offering suggestions. Different things. And none of it is contrary to the word of the Most High. None of it. The Bible says, do not take counsel from the ungodly. Go ahead.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated.
So when you're going through, that furnace gets heated up even more.
Oh yeah.
To make you doubt and not believe. 20.
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosens, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Cast into the burning fiery furnace. 22.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
But why? Now, you have to think of this on this level too. The Most High allowed this to happen. Sometimes when you're going through that fire and people see you going through, that person may also convert. You're going through all this, and yet and still you're calling on the name of Ahai. And that family member, that Nebuchadnezzar in your life. Let's finish reading because I'm telling the story. Go ahead.
I'm on 23, correct?
23,
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
It says he fell down. They were praying. Normally somebody throw you in some fire. You're burning. They fell down and they were praying in the fire.
So in the midst of your tribulation.
In the midst of your tribulation, you fall on your knees and pray in that furnace. And let's see what happens. 25.
Then
24.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king.
True, all this stuff that's going on. 25.
He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
The Son of God. In the midst of your flames, in your arguing, in the midst of your fussing, in the midst of everything that's going on in your life, you fall down on your knees and pray. And Yeshua is there with you.
Well, he did say, I will never leave you or forsake you.
20. Then you got to put your member name there. Put somebody who's outside of what you're going through name there. Nebuchadnezzar, 26, let's get it.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servant of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire.
27.
And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose body the fire had no power,
Fire had no power. Go ahead.
nor was a hair of their head singed.
No hair was touched.
Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God.
So the Most High, through all that flame and fire, through all your problems, through all your trials, through all your tribulations, through everything, through your past, through your present, all the stuff that's going on in your life, He is there. 29.
Therefore I make a decree, that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because they deliver. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
This is saying don't give up. In the midst of everything that's going on, don't give up.
That's right.
Because there's blessings on the other side of your chastisement. There's blessings on the other side of your flame. There's blessings on the other side of the situation that you're in right now. Don't give up. This is a very critical period in your walk. You can come out the fire ready to be decorated or die. Period. Let's get Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 27, verse 5. Let's read it.
The furnace proveth the potter's vessels.
The furnace prove your vessels, meaning the furnace strengthens you. Go ahead.
So the trial of man is in his reasoning.
So the trials that you go through, you understand now. You understand why you're going through. Ecclesiasticus 50 and 9, as the fire incense in the censer, and as a vessel of beaten gold set with all manner of precious stones. Ready to come out?
Ooh,
You ready to come out?
that is red.
Yes.
This is how you are.
There are the faces on it.
A few of you are like this right now.
Yeah.
You're in this. You've been through deliverance. You're getting an understanding of the word. But this is to make you even stronger.
And let's just throw this in there. It's not going to end. You're going to be in and out, in and out. It does. When you become from young people to elders, even elders at a ministry still go through things like this.
Okay? This process is not pleasant. There are times when the Most High brings chastisement in our lives. He does this because He loves us and He wants the best for us. Revelation chapter 3, verse 18. And let's read it.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold, tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
That's the end result. But before we get there, there's more that has to be done with that clay. Now that it's hot, you have to be dipped.
Oh yeah.
It's hot, it comes out the oven, now it has to be dipped. You just don't come out that oven and start to do the work. There has to be a strengthening put on you. Now that you've passed through the fire, the next step is be immersed in the Word, immersed in the teaching. Get to honor the Shabbat, cutting off all the people who don't serve the Most High, getting ready for your assignment from the Most High. Okay? Let's get John chapter 15, verses 11 through 17. John 15, and this is coming from Yeshaya's own mouth. Let's read it.
These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full.
Yep.
This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you.
Yep.
Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends.
Read that again.
Ye are my 13 or 14?
14.
14. Ye are my friends.
Ye are my friends. Go ahead.
If ye do whatsoever I command you.
If you do whatever I command you. You're in that fire. You're out of that fire now. Now comes the glaze. Go ahead. But you're still not decorated. 15.
Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
16.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit.
Read that section again.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
Every single one of you are chosen, and what else?
And ordained you.
And ordained you. You can't be ordained if you don't go through.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of Father in my name, he may give it you.
17.
These things I command you, that ye love one another.
That you love one another.
Again, yeah.
He said that twice. Very important. When Yeshaya says things repeatedly, you better take heed to it. We are getting stronger because we have been through the fire. We know this world is nothing. We embrace what the Most High. We embrace the Most High, but there is still one more step. You got to go through the fire again. That glaze is only good once it's heated. Once it's heated, then that furnace burns it up again. And it makes that glaze hard. You have to go through the fire again. Some of you are going to go through the fire again. 2 or 3 times. But that's to harden you, to make you strong for Him, for His glory, not for your own selfishness. 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 39. And let's read it.
Which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord.
You depart from the shadow of the world. Ecclesiasticus chapter 50, verse 11. And let's read it.
When he put on the robe of honor and was clothed with the perfection of glory, when he went up to the holy altar, he made the garment of holiness honorable.
You're wearing your holy garments.
There you go.
Baruch chapter 5, verse 1 and 2. Baruch 5, 1 and 2. And let's read that.
Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction.
That was the clay. That was the clay being molded. Put off the mourning. Put off the affliction. Go ahead.
And put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from God forever.
2.
Cast about thee a double garment
A double garment
of the righteousness which cometh from God, and set a diadem of thine head on the glory of the everlasting.
So set a diadem on thine head. That means get your head. Get it right. Get it right.
Get your head.
You are now a finished product in Yeshua. You must go out and do the work of the Most High. Old family and friends, go away. Last scripture. Matthew chapter 12, verses 46 to 50. Once you're that potter, once you're that ceramic piece, you're hardened, you're beautiful. The Most High has decorated you, clothed you up. This is what he's going to tell. This is what he thinks about you now. Matthew 12, 46, 50. Let's get it.
While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren?
Who is my mother? Who are my brethren? 49.
And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and brethren.
All you finished pots, all you finished pieces of pottery, this is what Yeshua. Yeshua is pointing towards you and saying, these are my mother, these are my brethren. Because you have been through the kneading process. You have been on the potter's wheel. You have been dipped. You have been thrown into the fire. You have been taken out. You have been dipped in glaze. You have been thrown in the fire again. And you have came out in verse 50.
For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
There you go. Now you want to know, now you understand why you're going through? Now you understand why stuff is happening to you? Trials and tribulations are coming your way? Now you understand why the past keeps coming up? Now you understand why your finances are being touched? Now you understand why your health is being touched? Because all those impurities have to be removed. So that when you now come into the Most High, higher, you're strong. You're ready to fight.
Yep.
It's not only getting you prepared for now, it's getting you prepared for the kingdom.
That's right.
It's getting you prepared for the day of Armageddon.
Yes.
The potter's wheel. All praise be to the Most High, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, Yeshua, our wonderful, caring, and loving Savior, who when he come back, he ain't going to be so loving and caring and wonderful.
Come on, man of war.
And Rawawak, our mother, the Holy Spirit, subscribe to the channel and Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.